Hey everyone, before we dive in, if you enjoy real-life stories like this one, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel grow. It still pains me to share this story. I didn't cry at all that morning when my husband pulled out of the driveway. That should have been my first red flag. I lingered on the porch without shoes, feeling the chill of the wooden boards beneath me, clutching the mug of coffee he'd brewed for me just like he did every single day for years. His brake lights disappeared around the corner, and that's when it struck me. I hadn't even said a real goodbye. No kiss, no embrace, just a casual drive safe. That felt totally scripted. We were only meant to spend some time apart, not call it quits on our marriage. But deep down, if I'm being real with myself, part of me had already checked out. My name is Emily, and I've been married to Ryan for 7 years. From the outside, we seemed like the ideal couple. We met in college, had those inside jokes only we got, loved the same kinds of films. He brought a sense of peace into my world. Maybe even too much peace. Over time, that stability started feeling like a quiet, nagging discomfort. Routine can seem cozy like home, or it can feel trapping like a cage. I never planned to develop feelings for someone else. I didn't think it was even possible for me. But then Alex entered the picture. He was the new creative director at our office. He was the total opposite of Ryan. Messy, incredibly talented, full of energy, totally captivating. He turned ideas into fireworks, not slow reveals. And he really noticed me. Not the married me, not the dependable worker me. The me who craved a little chaos. It began innocently enough, light banter, eating lunch together, those brief seconds when our gazes held longer than they should. No touching, nothing inappropriate. Or at least that's what I told myself to justify it. But soon I was putting on lipstick again. I'd grab an extra coffee on my way in. I'd scroll through his social media stories late at night like a teenager with a crush. Then there was the evening that changed it all. We worked late on a project. Rain pounded against the office windows as everyone else headed home. He shared about his recent divorce, how the isolation had almost broken him. I opened up about how empty my marriage had become, how I sometimes longed for something to jolt me out of it. And then he kissed me. It wasn't frantic or passionate. It was soft, like he was asking permission. And I didn't stop it. I didn't back away. I didn't say stop. That kiss sparked everything. All of a sudden, there were midnight drives, budget hotel stays, erased texts, the side of me I hardly knew. I told myself I was just sorting out my feelings, putting my marriage to the test against the rush Alex gave me. But that was a total excuse. I knew precisely what I was up to. I wasn't lost. I was being unfaithful. Ryan sensed the change. He began putting in more effort. Unexpected bouquets, unplanned dinners out, real tries to bring us closer. But each one felt like seeing someone battle for a connection I'd secretly abandoned long ago. One night, he said with this crushing calm, "I don't understand what's going on, but I'm not ready to quit on us. How about we spend a weekend apart to clear our heads?" I said yes, not because I wanted to fix things, but because I lacked the guts to end it myself. When he drove off with his small bag, my mind was already on Alex. Yet, once the house went silent, something unexpected hit. I thought I'd feel liberated, relieved, thrilled. Instead, I felt empty inside. Alex messaged, "Come over tonight." I replied yes, then stared at the screen like it wasn't my life. That evening at his apartment, it all seemed familiar. His smile still gave me that rush. But out of nowhere, I saw what was missing. He didn't check in on my day. He never recalled the little details. My go-to wine, my cat's name, how I liked my coffee. Being with him wasn't building a future. It was just running away. As he dozed off, I sat by myself in his kitchen and wept for the first time in ages. The following day, I didn't reach out to him. I didn't head home either. I just got in the car and drove. I wound up at the park where Ryan and I hung out early in our marriage. We'd sprawl on the lawn, deal out cards, chuckle over silly stuff. I tried picturing life without him in it. No relaxed weekends, no peaceful mornings, no tender goodnight with a forehead kiss. Just void. And fear washed over me like a cold wave. I raced back home, scared I'd discarded something priceless. But as I turned into the drive, Ryan's car was already parked. He was leaning against the garage, arms crossed, bag still in the back. He'd only just gotten there. He looked worn out, deeply hurt. Before I could get a word out, he simply said, "I know." Everything froze. He didn't yell. He didn't demand details. He just gazed at me like he'd already grieved our loss. "How long?" he asked softly. "A couple months," I murmured. He nodded slowly like it matched what he'd feared. Was it worth it? That cut deep. "No," I answered, because the reality was harsh. Alex wasn't worth blowing up my marriage. He wasn't worth losing a guy who picked me day after day. "I don't know what I want now," I admitted at last. Ryan offered a faint, shattered smile. Then he climbed back into his car. Not to stay, but to go. I stood in the driveway and watched the man I'd assumed would always be there leave for good this time. And finally the tears flowed. Not because he was gone, but because I'd pushed him away, because I'd wrecked something I didn't fully appreciate until it slipped through my fingers. The days after were robotic. Short texts about bills. Nothing personal. Alex reached out a few times, but each message just highlighted my foolishness. I cut things off with him. He didn't push back. He didn't try to keep me. He just accepted it and went on. That stung differently, seeing I'd risked my marriage for someone who didn't truly care. It took months of counseling, regret, and quiet reflection to face the damage I'd done. I never begged Ryan to return. I knew I hadn't earned that. Nearly a year passed and then he showed up at my door. He seemed healthier, more at peace, like he'd found his way to healing. He passed me a big envelope. Inside were printed pictures from our past, hiking adventures, vacations by the ocean, friends' weddings we'd gone to together. Reminders of a life I'd recklessly broken. I couldn't bring myself to toss them, he explained. And I don't resent you. I just needed time to feel complete again. Tears filled my eyes. I'm happy you're okay, I said quietly. So am I, he replied gently. He started to walk away, and in that instant I glimpsed another possible us. One that put in more work, talked openly, stood up for each other instead of letting things fade. One that made it through. But ours didn't. That's what infidelity costs. You don't only lose the relationship, you forfeit the chance to ever again deserve the love you threw away. Grok. Render card underverb equals 1e39 Fey. Card underverb equals image deferred. Type equals render underverb. Argument name equals image underscore ID 0/argument. Argument name equals size large/argument /grok. Render grok. Render card underverb equals 9584C6. Card underverb equals image deferred. Type equals render underverb image. Argument name equals image underscore ID 3/argument. Argument name equals size large/argument /grok. Render grok. Render card underverb equals A4 ACB. Card underverb equals image deferred. Type equals render underverb. Argument name equals image underscore ID 10/argument. Argument name equals size large/argument /grok. Render grok. Render card underverb equals 9FDA6. The card underverb equals image deferred. Type equals render underverb. Argument name equals image underscore ID 7/argument. Argument name equals size large/argument /grok. Render